So I started implementing the We Do, like the way you trained us, and I see that I saw some improvement on the lesson, but I also see like where I fall short.
Yeah.
So, but I take that as a good thing because if I know where I fall short, then I can improve on that.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I have a better idea what is the We Do part, like bring the key points.
Yeah.
Like now I actually see it more.
Excellent.
The thing that I still find a challenge is when I plan, it's like, 40 minutes. Yes, I totally can do this in 40 minutes. And then in action, I'm always falling short. And I think the thing is like sometimes I add things in that's not on the plan because of whatever the dynamic is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then like I'm not planning where I could reach something the way I imagine planning, you know, things like that.
So like I do want to call out the We Do, and I know like that's just like a new focus. I did definitely see it come alive while you were teaching. Like you went over the key points, and then you went into the process. I wrote it all down on the notes here. You went into like you did the key points, and then you started to just familiarize them with old key points. So like, what's one thing that I can do to help me compare and contrast? What's one thing that I do when I'm reading a Venn diagram, and so on and so forth. And also, in addition to that, you did push for evidence, which is last week's goal, like of evidence. What evidence do you have to support that? So in doing all that, like what impact do you think that is making on your students? Particularly,
so they know that evidence is important because I always say, okay, I'm asking you why it's raining outside. You're telling me your shoe red. So I always use that because they find it funny. So they know that I always value. They know that that's what they need to do because I'm asking for it all the time.
Yeah.
So they know the expectation. That's the impact. Like they know what they're supposed to look for.
Yeah.
In terms of the key points, I think now they have a chance to really have it stick in their mind, and like really internalize the lesson that I'm teaching too. And I actually now kind of have a better idea, like what I need to reteach if I need to reteach anything.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Write that down first and foremost. You always write down the great things because you never give yourself enough credit. So like the We Do was no, seriously, you don't. The We Do, your We Do was coming alive, especially with the key points, introducing it with the key points, and then intermingling those key points as you were processing, going through the We Do, and then you were harping on that evidence, like there was no tomorrow. So if they said anything that came out of their mouth, you said, what's your evidence to support that? Another sidebar, when I was talking to some students outside, they used the word evidence. So the girls said that we were doing this, but they had more evidence than we did. So they're incorporating the word even evidence, and they're just vernacular. Okay. So I want us to really think about it, and I have a copy of a plan, and pardon me, it's just all marked up and just looks ridiculous.
Do I need my pen?
If you have it, you can bring it, but you can just look on mine, which is fine. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and skip through the video here. I'm going to go to the 12-minute mark. But I want you to tell me what you noticed. Okay. Actually, I'm going to go to the first mark.
Maybe I take this out. Perfect. Thank you.
As far as the beginning. So it's basically up here in the I do. Stop at the right place. This may be a little bit before.
Okay, what is that referring to? What's that alluding to? Sergio?
So this is like right around the point, and hopefully I got the right one, but it's right around the point to where you're like introducing the key points here for an illusion, and then you present them with the example, and then like you kind of go into like the how and the why part, and I don't know if this is like the best representation of it, but then Andrew answers. And what I want you to do is just pay attention to what's happening here on your plan in comparison to what's happening in the video.
Okay. And how would you describe a three-headed dog? Aiden? Okay, meaningful. Okay, now read the example again. If you wake me up before the alarms go off, you can expect to see Tiberius. What do you think that means? Go ahead and share and discuss with your partner. 30 seconds.
So here Andrew comes in. Okay. So what do you notice, especially now that you've seen yourself and then you've seen your plan?
Yeah, so that wasn't in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's why what I say, like I add sometime I add things in there.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I have them turn and talk, like I always have a share out, especially if I get a chance to listen to them, and especially if that's really what I want them to get.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely asked the lady what I was trying to get at. Like, so you asked them, like, what's an illusion? Which is great. Like, you embedded it within the key point.